Welcome back to an update video today. As always, I'm using the Fractal method, explanation video, myth rules, how it works, and so on and so on. I will link at the end of the video. Okay, today we start with GME because it is, if AMC and GME are synced, it's important for AMC. So let's go in. So as always, if you're interested in the full Fractal thing, I will link the Sunday video, the roadmap video, the new one, at the end of the video for price targets, how the squeeze should look like, and so on. Today we only look what we have done this week. So let's zoom in. So first of all, I really have to say that we did this week nothing, and that's quite remarkable, especially because AMC is doing something. Yeah, but GME, here's Monday. This was this week for GME. Nothing, except that we broke this higher low, we made a lower low, we even broke this higher low and made a lower low, but otherwise this was just nothing. I will do this time the same thing I tried in the weekly update video, in the Sunday roadmap video. I will look at GME alone, give my conclusion. I will look at AMC alone and give my conclusion, and then if they are still sync, I give a conclusion for both. Yeah? But I say that already right now. What if there is no sync anymore in these two? Because again, and before we start with the tracking here, if there's still a sync and if we are still bullish on AMC and GME, something is wrong. Because if we are sync, a GME should already have done this, which we clearly didn't do. Yeah? But while AMC was still in the A pullback, we talk about it in a second, GME already ran. And this landmark here would mean right now we would be already over 28 and under 35. We clearly didn't do that. The same, it's not a landmark which only happened once. Here in 2021, GME did this while AMC was still finishing its higher low after the all-time low. Also this, GME didn't do yet. It's the first time since 2021 that AMC is running before GME. So you could now, of course, say, okay, maybe they are changing. The only problem is, in 2021, GME ran first. In 2024, GME ran first. And in 2025, GME ran first. There are only 2 points where it was different. We come to that. But I wouldn't say they're changing. But what if they are not synced anymore? But that in a second. For GME alone, I have 2 bullish versions. Yeah? The first one, it's the super duper whatever bullish version. That means this here is our higher low, and I mean this is already our higher low, and we break upside and go. Yeah. If we squeeze or doing the other thing, so that we come also in. Now let's do that. There are 2 ways. This is higher low, and we squeeze on Monday. Ole. Price targets in the Sunday video. Or if we need another week, this will be our A. Yeah. In that way, in that thing, we would go over 28, under 37, 38. Yeah. Doing our last pull back till next week, Friday, and then squeeze. That's the super duper bullish version. Do I lean to that? No. Yeah. Just because 2 things. The other bullish version is we are kissing this trend line now since when? Since May 1st. Yeah. I still think that this is our T. I still think we have to come lower than this. That means lower than 2088. Why? Just because for the bullish version, this whole thing is our higher low. This higher low is ending in a V under A or under the 786. And our 786 is 20.63. Yeah. So we have to go under this. So my level for this to be ended is here, 2046. Maybe we do that already tomorrow, or we need all next week for that. And then we go. Yeah. I would lean more to this. I really have to say that. Just because for me personally, it makes no sense. Because normally the peak of the higher low isn't going over T, and I have no possibility to put the T anywhere else. Yeah, that's why I lean to this. For levels, before we look at the bearish version, whatever happens, in my opinion, if you break under 21.15, you will do this version where you go to 20.88. Yeah? If you break upside from here, your first confirmation is, as always, 23.25. And like in the last videos, everything over 26.26, there is no bearish alternative anymore. End of story. Yeah? The absolute bearish version is for GME still there. Yeah? And that means that this whole thing, since May Squeeze 2024, this whole thing is our higher low from our A. This whole 2021 thing is our A. And in that case, we never finished this higher low. Never. Because we never went V under A. In that case, this peak here in May 2025 was our M from this higher low. So the first thing we will do is go under 17. Everyone on Twitter will cheer. See, I told you, we're going under 17. Yeah. And now we 100% squeeze. I told you that, like, for example, Rico. Yeah. With the spike of 0. Yeah, we go under 17 and then we 100% squeeze. In my opinion, if we do that, we will bounce here. I give you that. But we won't break this trend line. This will become T. And then we will fall to 13.63. And then higher low, and then you go. This V here will take October till October, November. And then you have again time till January or May 2027. For GME alone, yeah, if I wouldn't even know that this is GME, if I would just look at this as an unnamed stock, for me personally, I would say this version is my main version. If I wouldn't know it's GME, yeah, it would make fundamentally sense because, okay, this is just illusion, yeah, for the eBay news, whatever, yeah. But because I know it's GME and it should be synced with AMC, this version makes no sense. Yeah? But to make that clear, GME alone, my conclusion, this is why I'm so fucking bearish. I give this for GME alone 70% probability. The other version, where we still need the little drop to 2088, I would give 20% chance for GME alone, and the version where we just break out here, 10%. But I could be wrong. But the thing is, only for GME alone. And now we come into AMC. So, also for AMC. If you want to see the big version with price target, my personal price targets, how the squeeze should look like, if it's, in my opinion, a 1-part or a 2-part squeeze, and the whole fractal, I will link the big roadmap video at the end of the video. Good. Now we start with the thing I missed, overlook, the really, really bullish version for AMC and why I can't see GME going to $13. So split screen, just for explanation. Both sides, of course, AMC. Left side, 1 hour chart on the chart without after hours on is important. Right side, also AMC, 1 hour chart, but January 2021 to the squeeze of January 2021, also without after hours. And here I really have to say, sometimes you have a tunnel vision. I have a tunnel vision. Can happen. I'm also a human. But I was, if you remember, if you're already a long watcher, I was waiting for gaps by AMC. And I said, I hate the tracking for AMC because we have no gaps. Yeah, I mean, if I have after hours on, you have to have a gap in overnight, of course, because if you have after hours on and you have a little gap in after hours, you don't see the gap. That was the big mistake I made. Because if we now compare 2021 to 2026 now, yeah, we have our V here, March 27, 2026, comparable to January 2021. Then we did this shitty higher low. Here it was a real higher low. Here it wasn't. But the funny thing is, we were waiting here, or I was waiting here for the normal higher low. Yeah, we didn't do that here. The same, we didn't do that here. But I mean, it's the same movement here. So, okay, I said I have to be a little bit open-minded. So this higher low is this higher low. End of story for the bullish one. And then we had a gap here. You see that? I will zoom in. Without after hours on, we have a gap here. The same like we had a gap here. Yeah, January 7. Then we went up, did a little pullback, had another gap and went up to A. The same thing we did here. We ran up, did a little pullback, had a gap here and ran up to our A. Also here's a gap. Then we did the pullback. Then we did the pullback. We did this pullback without this higher low. Here was a higher low. Fine. And then we went up. Then we went up. We have here a gap. The same like we have here a gap. I mean, okay, here we already over A, but yeah, it doesn't have to be one-to-one. So this fucking thing, if you look at this shit, is fucking bullish. Yeah? And because I was already called today, hey, I am the Tim Cramer for AMC. I mean, maybe it was just a joke. And I don't even hate it. Yeah? I just say one thing. Maybe I didn't. I think I said that, made that really clear in all the last videos. Also for the bearish version, I see AMC going up. So inverse Kramer, why? Maybe I missed something. So the thing is, we have now two versions. First of all, I look at AMC without GME. Yeah? The absolute bullish version would be, we have here our B, we have here this gap. In that case, this was already B. I mean, it would work because B needs a 0.5 pullback. And we kinda did that here. Yeah. I mean, we are not over M, but okay. In that case, this here would be already this. We are slower. Absolutely. Yeah. And for my time frame, for my seasonal thing, we're already in June. So fuck that, really. I still don't want to go into July. But July doesn't matter what is different or what not. July is most of the time, really for memes, the time for the lower high. So I really don't like to go into July without big gaps. Yeah, we will come to that for the big gaps. But this would be the most bullish version. Because really, also for the levels, yeah, because this peak, yeah, is this peak. And this peak is this peak already. We are already fucking close to this shit if this is one-to-one. Really, yeah. So, what could happen? If I look at AMC completely alone, yeah, I see a chance that I mean, what is coming next? next is coming this gap. Yeah. And if you don't watch the roadmap video on Sunday, yeah, I mean, this here is our macro A. And macro A has price targets between $74 and $180. This is a massive gap. Yeah? This would be the next landmark. If this here, if we already did this here, we could just gap next Monday. 2-hour squeeze. If not, if we still need more time, I would say we do this next week. But first of all, this would still be a gap. And price, I would say, yeah, $5 to $6. Yeah, if we still need this. I mean, then we just go up, we gap on Monday, and the whole week we're doing this shit. Yeah, it would even be a pullback. It would be just up, down, up, down, up, down, whatever. Yeah, and then I would say in the last week of June, 29 to 30. Yeah, June 30. Yeah. If I look at it that way, I can't look at anything else. Okay, that would be the two bullish versions. Yeah. The one bearish version, you all who watch me already longer, is pretty simple. Whatever we're doing down here, we are slowly grinding up, yeah, 10, 20%, whatever, into July. So we go up. I would say even with tiny pullbacks, still up to whatever $4 to $5, because then we are over our M. This is our B landmark. Then we're doing the 0.5 pullback, a real one, yeah, to the 0.5 here. Then we would still go up into July. Yeah, and in that case, for the bullish, for the bearish version, we won't go over this main trend line. Yeah, because this would be our C, which is in the same time our macro T. We would reject here, and we would fall the rest of the year to a new all-time low, most likely for 50, 40, 30 cents. But to say this, and that's why I really want to say this, fundamentally for AMC, I just see no case for that. Why? Yeah. Okay, they still have debt, but they make more money. Cinemas are cool again. Yeah. Netflix, I have very bearish tracking for Netflix. Yeah. So why? Even if, I don't know, the debt is still there. Yeah. I would see something like this, which we don't have in the tracking at all. This never happened. So I don't see this, but this would make sense. If you still need something till 2027, this makes sense. But AMC under $1 again makes no sense. Or we get another lockdown. Okay. Yeah. Another pandemic, maybe, but I don't see that. So yeah, this makes fundamentally no sense. Absolutely not. So for AMC alone, my conclusion for AMC alone, I see easily something big already next week, if not in the last week of June. Yeah? Because otherwise, if we just going up, we're coming to the level where this is getting fucking dangerous for the bearish version. And now one thing, with AMC and GME together, because that's the only thing. GME since I don't know, since weeks, months. Yeah, GME is the only fucking reason why I'm not ultra bullish on AMC. It's really the only fucking reason, because normally, as I showed, yeah, because where AMC is right now, and you can't change these landmarks. Yeah, GME should already have done this. GME should already start. So in my opinion, because when AMC did this here, it doesn't matter if you look at 2021 or 2024, GME already has done this back then. Only this time it didn't. Yeah. So there are only two ways. First of all, GME, they are not synced anymore. Yeah. That's the easiest answer. AMC looks bullish. AMC will squeeze. AMC will do what it should do. And fuck GME. That's the first version. Second version, okay, GME will not do this. And GME will just go with AMC. And this time GME will just squeeze from the lows. I don't know if you know the sentence, but it was quite common. AMC always squeezes from the lows. GME always squeezes from the highs. This time around, AMC would squeeze from the highs and GME from the lows. It would be the first time. Or the third version. And for the third version, it would at least make sense for me. In that case, whatever is GME doing, if it's doing this pullback to 2088, but then next week it should run up to its A. Whatever reason, whatever news we get, something between 28 and 38. This would be the A, and the rest of the week till next week, Friday, we would do this pullback squeeze. In that case, we didn't do this B, we still need to do it. In that case, we will find tomorrow or latest Monday, whatever peak we get, and doing this last B pullback till next week, Friday, and then both end on Friday in this position and both squeeze. Then GME was just fucking lazy and has to finish right now. But that's the only way to show that. The absolute bearish version, which makes no sense for me. If GME really needs to do this stupid thing with this $13 landmark here, which I showed before, what would AMC do if they are still synced? Is there some landmark where GME was late and AMC ran first? And yes, there is. In that case, it was August 2022, because here AMC went first, or July 2023. Same thing. In both cases, GME was bearish and AMC did its run without or before GME. That would be the two only versions. But even these two places doesn't make sense here. It just isn't. The only macro position which would make sense is if AMC is here or here. Yeah. But again, this would mean new all-time lows. It doesn't make sense. So for the conclusion, for AMC and GME together, fuck GME. AMC looks fucking great. So whatever GME is doing, fuck it. Yeah. Maybe it is too slow. Yeah. Maybe it will jump after it. Maybe GME is fucking dying when AMC is running. Yeah. Fuck it. AMC looks great. The only thing is, yeah, we need to gap over this level here. Then we are fine. If we're gapping over this level, perfect. If not, well, be careful between $7 to $9. Really. Yeah. But yeah. A knife to under $1 doesn't make sense for AMC. It just isn't. One last thing before I start with blah, 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 blah. Because I read that so many times today. There are no weekly options anymore because they know that something is coming and they deleted the option chain. No. If you don't believe me, just type in Google or ask ChatGPT or Gemini. The weekly options aren't there because AMC was too long under $3. That's why there are no weekly option chains, why there are also only the monthly options left. In the moment, I don't really know how long it has to be, but in the moment AMC goes over $3 again, there will be weekly options again, because that are the rules. It's not because they are manipulating that. Get away from this manipulation thing. Yeah, it won't help you. Most things, especially apes, yeah, and I don't get me wrong, I was in the same pace like you. Most of the time, uneducated apes are thinking and seeing manipulation on every fucking candle. If you just Google it, if you just learn things, you will see there, of course, there will be manipulation in the market, yeah, but it's not this big manipulation theory. No. It's just Fractal. That's my opinion. I mean, in my opinion, the whole market is fake. It's just Fractal. But yeah, at least the weekly option thing is not because they don't want you to buy options. I tell you that. They love to sell you options. Especially they love to sell you weeklies. Because 99% they will win with weeklies. Because it's stupid to buy weeklies. Yeah. Okay, next one, BYND. So, for BYND, again, for the full update, for the full Fractal, and I will link again the Sunday roadmap video again. Today, we just look what we have done today. So let's zoom in. So, it's just a tiny update. We had our chance today, just to say that. Yeah. In the moment we would have broken today 73 cents, I think we would only have one version left. Sadly, we rejected it. Yeah. That's why this is my main version now. Yeah. It's still bullish. Yeah. But in that case, since June 10, this is just a small higher low. And we still need one lower low. What I mean with that? Higher low is always doing a V under A. In that case, it's 67.64 cents. Exactly this line here. This line. In the best case, we're doing that tomorrow. I mean, it's not even, it's 2.4 cents to do this. Yeah. Also, the 786 is sitting there. Yeah. And BYND, normally doing its big moves Friday, Monday. There is no Friday this week, so Monday. Yeah. So in the best case, we do this. Maybe even a little higher low, and then we go. That's my main version for this. If we go up from here, yeah, we have to put our T somewhere in here. Isn't looking great. Yeah. But tomorrow, if you go over 73.13 cents, this line here, yeah, then it's upside. Yeah. Again, for the conclusion, yeah, just to do that right now, I'm still bearish on BYND. I still have my position. I'm only bearish because this was normally our A, but because we broke under the 786, which isn't allowed for A, I am still bearish. That's not normal behavior. Yeah. But because it still looks okay, I give BYND that. Yeah. But normally, if we do that, that is my T, but we come in that in a second. So for levels, if we go tomorrow over 73, perfect, bullish, upside. If we go over 84 cents, most likely not tomorrow, but if we do that or next week, we don't talk about bearish alternatives anymore. For levels to the downside, if you touch a break tomorrow, 68 cents, you will go to the 67 cents. Yeah, it's not. It's still okay. Everything is fine. Go. If you break 66 cents tomorrow, that's the version where I already get quite really bearish. It's not death yet, but that's not good. If you break this trend line here, the red one, this trend line here. So for levels for the next weeks, this would be what? 62, 61. I'm ultra bearish. Because in my opinion, if you break down here, you will break 57 cents. And 57 cents, we will look today at two fractals which died. breaking 57 cents or only touching it, and for me personally, it's just my tracking, but for me personally, it's over. It's over. Because then this higher low is 100% a T or M, and then you will break all-time lows at 50 cents. And if you break 50 cents, no, then it's dead. Because then the macro higher low is dead, the macro higher low becomes T, and you will go down. Doesn't matter where. Yeah, 30, 20, 10 cents, you will do a reverse split down here. They already voted for it. And that's not the worst thing. You still have to do the higher low, macro higher low. This will take a full year. Yeah. So don't do that. Yeah. In the best case, maybe a little, in the best case, you go up tomorrow. But for the normal way, you're doing a little lower low. You're falling 3 cents tomorrow, and next week is upside. Yeah. Again, if we see upside, our main tracking is still that we get our peak July, August, our macro between $15 and $44. But for this, we have to push out of here. Yeah, it still looks okay. Yeah, my conclusion is still I'm still bearish just because it broke my level here. Yeah, but if we go over 84 cents, bullish. So let's see what we get. Little update on FFAI. Also, just a small update. For the big update, I will link you again the Sunday roadmap video. For the small update here, we are still in our macro higher low. Yeah? Also, it's a macro higher low, how a macro higher low should look like, because it's under T. The peak is under T. That's how a higher low should look like. And I said in the last videos, a higher low is ending V under A. The V under A is 27.49 cents for FFAI. I already get some questions. Hey, we got this monster candle. Is this? No. We are still needing 2.5% downside. Yeah, it's 9%. That's nothing for FFAI. Yeah, because if you look on the 1 hour chart, yeah, we can do that in one fucking day. Here, this to this, 19%. This one candle here, 6%. This 1 hour candle here, 11%. We can do that in tomorrow. Whatever news, maybe even not without news. Nobody cares. Just do this and okay. Also interesting for FFAI, if we track AMC extremely bullish. Yeah? Look at the IPO for an FFAI. Here. This squeeze was January 8th to January 29th. There was the IPO squeeze from FFAI in 2021. Here also AMC and GME squeeze. So let's see what FFAI is doing tomorrow. Yeah. If we just do this pullback tomorrow for FFAI, yeah, so if we do this, maybe this could be confirmation for AMC also. Just one warning, just because we did this on a bounce, you could add a micro higher low. If AMC and GME still needs another week, yeah, and if FFAI is sync, the only way for FFAI would be we need a macro higher low till next week Friday. Yeah, don't look at this. Just draw this that you see what I mean. Yeah, but my conclusion on this, I'm not really bearish on FFAI. I would still say if we bounce here, this looks great. For levels, I still convinced we need the 27 cents. If we go up from here tomorrow, why ever? Yeah, everything over 45 cents, and I'm wrong. Because 45 is too high for a pullback. Yeah, then it's upside. And of course, because we look at other stocks today too, it's not allowed to touch or break 20 cents. If you touch or break 20 cents, this becomes T and FFAI is done. End of story. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going bankrupt, but the play is done. Because then most likely we will come near the 10 cents. They will reverse split, they will delist, whatever. The play is done. Yeah. If they reverse split, the company still lives. The Fractal in itself still looks good. But for people who are in the stock, it's shit. Okay. So 20 cents. No go. Conclusion, still bearish. Still bullish, but I still see one last pullback. Good. Next one, a little tiny update to NIO, because I get often the question, is it still fine? Yes. Yeah. I'm not showing the whole Fractal today just because the German video was already fucking long. I will only show what we have done here. But all in all, if you're interested, I will link the big roadmap update video again at the end. But all in all, it still looks fine. Absolutely. Yeah. I said here in the last video, where is it? Here. I'm extremely bullish still. Nothing changed. Bounce target was $5. And we bounced at 416.96. So I'm so wrong. 4 cents was wrong. Yeah. So we bounced on this bullish uptrend line, if this is the bounce, but it looks fucking great. For the micro tracking, this section here is also finished because we have a peak, we have a lower high, we have a midpoint, we have a T. We went under the point where the T started. Perfect. We got a bounce. And if we look at this micro, you had a V, a little tiny high low, and this could be already little tiny A. So for the absolute perfect bullish version, upside from here. And we should really start upside because really, we already fucking late. Yeah. 4 levels. Everything over 625, perfect, bullish. Everything over 7, extremely bullish. Everything over 8, oh my God, we are already running. Again, still, because we always do that, everything under 438. And something is wrong with my tracking. I don't have a pullback under this. I really don't have. This is fucking bearish. Also for me. Yeah. But right now, extremely fucking bullish. No financial advice, but for me it is. Yeah. So looks perfect. Good. Little tiny update to GDC. So we are not talking about the Fractal today. If you are interested, watch the Sunday video. But because I also got the question, is GDC still fine? It is still okay. No, of course it is not okay. You are sitting at 2 cents. Yeah, it was already not okay here at 19 cents. This is not okay. That's why it's a YOLO play. Yeah, and also because I already got the question, what is a YOLO play? In the German section, a YOLO play for me means it's 90% it will go bad. That's why I always, when I showed this, I said, be careful. It's a fucking risk play. Only use money which you would set on fire, which you 100,000% don't need. Write me if I wasn't clear enough, but I don't know what I have to say, how fucking risky this is. This thing will do the run, and what we are talking about this run. So if we do the move, it's something between $12 to $150, $160, or it will die, to make that absolutely clear. We are not micro tracking this. It's not okay. Yeah, there are no levels where I can say it's okay or it's not okay. No, you will see one day massive upside, or it will be one day gone. And to make that also clear, we have already a date when this is over. Because when we look at this, since Tuesday, we are under 10 cents. It is sitting at NASDAQ. When a stock is falling under 10 cents, the NASDAQ rule comes into place. 10 trading days under 10 cents and you are delisted. There is no plus 180 days or whatever. No. 10 trading days under 10 cents and you are gone. End of story. That means the 10 days started on Tuesday and are ending on Monday, the 29th of June. So we have one more week. If we don't get the move on Tuesday, the last Tuesday in June, June 30th, this thing is gone. That's our time frame for this move. Yeah? And again, YOLO play, 100% risky. I can't say it better. Yeah? If you don't want to risk it, don't play it. Yeah? It's a 2 cents. Even if you only throwing $50 at it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of shares. Yeah. If you get the move, fine. If not, this money is gone. To make that clear. Yeah. I mean, you can write me every question you want. I'm not angry about that. Yeah. But asking me, is this still okay? No, it's not. Yeah. So let's see what we get. Okay. Now the two fractals which died this week. So Sava on the right side, FLNA on the right side, GNS on the left side. Both of them died this week. And to make that absolutely clear, there is no coming back from this. For me personally, you can have another opinion. For my tracking, there is no coming back from this. Yeah. What do I mean with this? For this, we start with GNS. We tracked GNS. This whole thing since April 2025 had to be, for the bullish version, our macro higher low. We broke that here. We broke that. This can't be macro higher low anymore. This whole thing becomes macro T. And macro T is not just doing a few cents under it and then go. I never saw that. Yeah, you will have a bigger drop from this. Just look at DGT, for example. Perfect example for this. Yeah, wherever it will go. Yeah, normally it's the same like FFAI. A break of 20 cents most likely will get you under 10. Yeah, and that's bad. If there is no reverse split, if there is no delisting, yeah, it will take time because you have to look now for a new V. If it's not reverse splitting and not delisting, I would say the V you will get in August. Then you still have to do the macro higher low, which in my opinion will be till November if it's not dying. Then we can track for something bullish again. But first of all, if they are doing a reverse split, you don't want to be in the stock because it will be a bigger one. Yeah. And second, time. Yeah. Why? The next thing, got the question because of this move today. They already tried to save it because the news for this move was that they were deleting 60 million shares. However they did that, doesn't matter. This was the move with the 60 million shares. It already went down. That's not helping. And even if it goes up here, this break is a break of this higher low. The only thing which makes me wrong is if you go over 52. If you do that, wait a second. If you do that, I'm wrong. This is a level not to break. Then I'm wrong, but I don't think that. I think you will go down here. Yeah, and in the worst case, I mean, worst case is the listing. Second worst case, OTC. No, second worst case is reverse split. Third worst case is OTC, whatever. Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, same thing for FLNA. Also here, with this one candle in after hours on Tuesday, we broke this higher low. For FFAI, and this becomes T. Also this will now look for new lows. Only difference between FLNA and GNS is that we have tracking for that. For FLNA, we are here, most likely. We will now look for a new low, and the rest of this year we will do this, most likely. And then I would still say I will leave both of them on the watch list. I will still look on them, but I don't need to do updates on GNS or FLNA in the time we are doing this shit. But for FLNA, I still think we get our next chance early next year for this, because we will still look for this gap fill. I still think so. But right now, downside, stupid sideways, and then we go up. Yeah. For FLNA, it's not that bad. Yeah. I mean, okay, it's bad because the play is over for this year, but it's sitting at $1.21. Yeah. I mean, the target, I don't know, maybe even under $1. Yeah. But for timing, yeah, they can still look on NASDAQ for 2 times 180 days extension. I don't think they need to do a reverse split because they are still up. GNS is sitting at 20 cents. But them, it's over. FLNA, okay, it will take more time. But for both of them, this year is over for both. For GNS, maybe it's completely over. Yeah, just saying. My tracking could be wrong. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, let's see. Okay, and in the end, we will make a little update on SPY, NASDAQ, and IWM. So we start with SPY because it's the shittiest one. NASDAQ is better, IWM is the best one. Come to a second. But for SPY, again, maybe it's just me. Maybe I missed something. But today, again, was the perfect example for the new Fed chair is going to the micro. He is not even saying something, and everyone is selling. His mouth is not even open. Selling. It's fucking, I don't know. I don't believe that shit. Okay, for the tracking, we got a knife today. Okay, we got a gap fill today. I am still bullish. I'm still bullish. That's why I also have my IWM course to say that. But for me, there are only 2 possibilities. Yeah. First, this is just our big A. We gap filled. We did the 0.5 pullback. In that case, I would even say if we micro track this shit, we have our top, our lower high, our midpoint, our T, knife, V. So for the slowest version, I would say we could still do a high low tomorrow because it's Thursday, which is kind of Friday because Friday is no market. So Thursday is ruling as Friday, and Friday normally you don't have much. So you could do this high or low, or you just go up already. Yeah. So I would say everything over 750, and there is no downside anymore. I am still bullish on the market. If we go lower, yeah, if this wasn't T and this becomes a T, our target would be, and that's already pretty deep, 734 or 5, something here, the 618. But then you should get a bounce. Also possible, don't like it. I would more see like that this was a V, but if we do that tomorrow, I mean, how much would that be? That would be 2.5%, not impossible for SPY. I would buy more. Yeah, no financial advice. That's still okay. What is absolutely not okay is if we go under 728 or even, let's say, 730 to 728. If we're going in something in this range, I'm wrong. Because if we do that, this thing is not a higher low. No way for SPY. In that case, our next target is the broadening wedge from January 2026. That means we will drop to 680. Yeah. And to make that even more clear, it would also be not a quick one, because what we did today, or not today, on Monday, was just M. In that case, you will fall down here, come up again, T, and then fall down. Yeah, I don't see that. But again, if we break 730 to 728, yeah, I'm wrong, and we will do that. I just don't see that. Yeah. I think this was still our bounce today. Good, next one, QQQ. For QQQ, quite the same. Yeah? We also gap filled already today. The 0.5 is a little bit more far away, but I would still say if we macro track this would still be A. It would be a fucking high A, but okay. A, also C, lower high, midpoint. Then we have to zoom in because this midpoint started here, down here, up. So this would be for the bullish tracking already our T, and this was our V. Also for NASDAQ, you could do this higher low tomorrow, and next week Monday we're going up, or you just go up from here. For NASDAQ, I would say everything over 735, and you don't get pullbacks anymore. Also for NASDAQ, if the T is not in yet, and this here becomes T, we have two levels. First, 716 or 78. NASDAQ is normally moving more than SPY. So it's 2% or 3%. That's still possible for NASDAQ because you only have to look it up today. It moves most of the time more than SPY. That's okay. But also like SPY, everything under 704 or 700, and I'm wrong. And this thing will knife. And for NASDAQ, that would mean 635. Also here, same thing. This would be your M. You will fall, come up again, T, and then we will fall to 634. Don't see that. But if we come into this range, that's too low. Also for NASDAQ, for me, it's impossible that this is a higher low. No chance. And now IWM. First, the normal tracking, then the it looks like tracking. And the big difference for IWM is that IWM is the only one of all these three. So the only one except against NASDAQ and SPY, which made a new all-time highs. Yeah? And also for IWM, for the tracking, it looks fire because you have your C, your lower high, your midpoint, your T, knifed V. For IWM, it makes no sense for me to fall down here. It makes no sense for me. You could also do, okay, a higher low here. But even breaking this level, 289, it wouldn't make sense for me. Yeah, because if we do the same thing here, and we say that this is some kind of a, this or this isn't making sense for me. For IWM, I really would have problems to do that. And if IWM is not doing this, if it's not going inverse SPY and NASDAQ, I don't see that on NASDAQ and SPY too. I just don't see that. Only thing, again, yeah, if IWM, I would even say, yeah, 283 to 281. If we do that, I am wrong. And then it will knife. I just have no idea to where. I mean, in that case, I don't know. I really don't know. For IWM, I have no clue what it will do. Yeah? For downside, I don't see it. That's also the reason why I still have my course for next week. Yeah, I still see fucking upside. And now we come to the it looks like version as last thing. So here's our it looks like version. And I told you there will be a time where it's breaking. Yeah. This still worked. This was perfect. This was perfect. Right now it gets really tricky. What I mean with that, if we just zoom in. Wait a second. That is also the reason why today I started with my normal version, because you have to already work for this to still work. Yeah. The only way to still compare November 2020 with today would be that we did this right now. But the real difference here is that you are here under all-time low and you already all-time highs, and you already did new all-time highs here. I mean, you can say everything looks like the same if you're just changing some things all the time. Okay. But yeah, that's why my method exists. So you don't have to work with something like this. But the best case to say that these two things are still the same thing would be that this low here on November 4th of 2020 we did today. That would also mean if we're doing still one-to-one, we would come up now, most likely tomorrow, make a lower high, not breaking all-time high, would still do a little pullback. Then we would do on Monday another, with a gap, a new all-time high, would pull back the rest of the week. And in the last week of June, we would do this gap up. I mean, if we say that AMC and GME go up, pull back the whole next week, and then squeeze on 29, 20, on 30, could make sense. Maybe. Yeah. Let's just see what we're doing tomorrow. Maybe I can update this in a better way on the weekend. Yeah, because I will make an update on the weekend. If we're really doing something like this tomorrow, okay. Maybe then, okay. Still, I mean, also this would show a gap up on Monday, a new all-time high on Monday, and a pretty boring week. But still would show upside in the market. Yeah, so conclusion, for SPY, NASDAQ, and IW. If I'm not wrong, maybe a boring day today, but a fucking nice green week. And I think on Friday is the peace deal signation, whatever. If I'm wrong, market crash. Yeah, but I don't think so yet. No financial advice. Okay. Yeah. Sorry for the long video. As always, explanation video here, playlist here, the big roadmap update video with everything explained back here. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to see more, give me an abo. And let's see what we're doing tomorrow. See you on the weekend.